Good evening. We will now call our December 11th, 2023 Cherry Creek School District Board of Education meeting to order. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have our land acknowledgement read by Director Allen.
On behalf of this board and the Cherry Creek School District, I would like to acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the ancestral and unceded lands of the Cheyenne, Arapaho, Ute, and Oceti-Sakowee people who stewarded it for generations. The Oceti-Sakowee included 7 bands, so I would also like to recognize that over 40 additional tribal nations likely use this area for trade, ceremonies, and social gatherings.
Thank you. We are now going to approve the agenda. I move to approve the agenda for the December 11th, 2023 regular Board of Education meeting. Is there a second? I call for a motion to approve the agenda for the December 11th, 2023 regular Board of Education meeting.
Motion to approve the agenda for the December 11th, 2023 regular Board of Education meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Director Allen?
Aye.
Director Bates?
Aye.
Director Egan? Director Garland?
Aye.
Director Knowles?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I call for a motion to approve the minutes for the November 9th, 2023 Special Board of Education meeting.
Motion to approve minutes for the November 9th, 2023 Special Board of Education meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Director Allen?
Aye.
Director Bates?
Aye.
Director Egan? Director Garland?
Aye.
Director Knowles?
Aye.
The motion carried.
I call for a motion to approve the minutes for the November 13th regular Board of Education meeting.
Motion to approve minutes for the November 13th, 2023 regular Board of Education meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Director Allen?
Aye.
Director Bates?
Aye.
Director Egan?
Aye.
Director Garland?
Aye.
Director Knowles?
Aye.
The motion carried.
I call for a motion to approve the minutes for the December 1st, 2023 Special Board of Education meeting.
Motion to approve minutes for the December 1st, 2023 Special Board of Education meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Director Allen?
Aye.
Director Bates?
Aye.
Director Egan?
Aye.
Director Garland?
Aye.
Director Knowles?
Aye.
The motion's carried.
It is at this time that we will hear from the directors of this district with their monthly reports. Director Allen?
Good evening, and thank you to Principal Kibbe and the Falcon Creek community for hosting tonight's event. And thank you all for joining us. Last week, my colleagues and I invested our time in attending the Colorado Association of School Boards Conference to strengthen our commitment to public school governance in our community. Part of my training focused on combating racism through policies and procedures in implementing those policies. Children facing racism and discrimination are more likely to have negative attitudes towards schools and experience mental health problems. Racism and discrimination harm everyone in our schools, especially those targeted. I will say again, we do not do school in a bubble. Our students do not leave their external beliefs shaped by media, peers, parents, and the community outside the bubble as they walk through our doors. As educators and community members, we possess the ability to initiate change and make a constructive difference in the fight against racism. And we must tackle racism and all forms of discrimination as part of our commitment to academic excellence and to achieve our central mission, to inspire every student to think, to learn, to achieve, to care. Combating racism and other forms of discrimination requires a methodical approach, including education and training, communication, consistent consequences, and collaboration. Educators play a crucial role in creating the safe learning environment. Our teachers are working tirelessly to combat racism, and those efforts are commendable. We must be proactive, setting high expectations and modeling the right behavior. We must also ensure age and ability appropriate consequences are both communicated clearly and applied uniformly. That systematic work requires looking beyond individual incidents and considering the larger context. Collaboration among schools and Helen Keller once said, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." Just as school board members from across the state work together to identify ways to combat racism, collaboration among teachers, principals, and administrators is pivotal to overcoming the complex issues of racism. By joining forces, we can truly make a difference. While there is still so much work to do, I also take a moment to reflect and share the great work being done by our administrators in our schools. In our strategic plan, we recognize that access to a robust education requires grade-level literacy, elimination of disproportionalities, and the health and safety of every student. Through my regular visits to schools, which is an integral part of my role as a school board member, I have the privilege of witnessing tangible connections formed within our school communities. Students and educators are embracing differences as a catalyst for positive change. Our dedicated teachers and principals are playing a pivotal role in shaping this environment. As I walk through the hallways and visit classrooms, I see and hear their genuine commitment to celebrating diversity and empowering education. Our educators' commitment to each of our students translates into real actions in the fight to eliminate racism and discrimination and in the pursuit of academic excellence. Media portrayals do not capture the depth of these efforts, making firsthand visits to our schools invaluable. I encourage each of you to engage directly with our educational spaces and witness the meaningful work our educators are doing and to contribute to positive change. I commend our educators who are working within our schools to foster an environment that reflects the diversity of our community. Thank you for your commitment, and let's continue to work towards a future where every student can thrive. I end my comments in the words of Nelson Mandela. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Thank you, happy holidays, and have a great winter break.
Thank you, Director Allen. Director Bates. Thank you. Good evening, and thank you once again to our host school and to everyone that works diligently to ensure that our meetings run as planned. Having just returned from our annual conference, I am reminded of our focal point, the students. The number of volunteer hours within CCSD that this board has are immeasurable. We will continue to volunteer so that all students will receive the best education that each deserves. This includes students that come from all kinds of backgrounds. Those that are in our GT, SPED, traditional classes, the full range of educational diversity. This board will fight for all children. While December is a time to celebrate many occasions, please remember that our students are preparing for final exams and often are stressed to the max. Please give them a bit of grace and ensure that they are taking care of their mental health. Our students often take on the burden of being successful and perfect, even without us pushing them. We as parents often miss the signs that they are burned out or overstressed. Please keep an eye on for those signs and encourage them to breathe. Perfection is not expected. Trying their hardest is. December is a month with so many activities happening district-wide. I encourage you to follow CCSD on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I would also suggest that you sign up for the district newsletter to keep up with all that is happening. This month, district-wide, our students will be showcasing their talents at choir and orchestra concerts. Please remember to invite your local seniors to join you for an evening of entertainment. You can find a list of events on our website. If you would like to help a local CCSD family at the holidays, our homeless liaison has set up a giving tree at the Walmart on Briarwood Avenue, just off of Arapahoe Road. As of today, 25 of the 80 gifts have been purchased. Please consider stopping by and purchasing an item from the tree. This district has over 700 unhoused students. This past weekend, Eagle Crest High School dance team brought home the state championship title in the hip hop category. Congratulations for 3 consecutive years of winning. And please know that I am saddened with the recent hate that has surfaced in our communities. I will continue to work with this board to end this senseless behavior. While no one can ever fully understand what another is experiencing, I will do my best to stand up for you. Please enjoy your holidays with your families. Make sure your children take some much needed rest at this break. And as I am looking forward to spending the holidays, especially New Year's, with my 5 children. So that ends my comments this evening.
Thank you, Director Bates. Director Egan.
Good evening, and thank you for being here. We appreciate Falcon Creek and Principal Laura Kibbe for hosting us and the efforts of our safety, security, and technology teams in preparing for these meetings. It was an honor to deliver jumbo checks from the Cherry Creek School District Foundation to our schools over the past couple of weeks. These grants have a big impact on classrooms and students, and we encourage all of our educators to apply. It was especially heartwarming to see the faces of students and teachers light up when we arrived. Just a few of these grants included functional academics in the Walnut Hills ILC kitchen and restorative justice at Heritage Elementary. Campus Middle School was the November drop-off location for the district's food drive, honoring the work of the Long Range Planning Committee. We will not be holding a December food drive, but our community cupboards are always in need of non-perishable food and hygiene items and monetary donations. Please check the district website for more information. The district also teamed up with nearly 24 local organizations to provide free Thanksgiving meals to our community, another wonderful way we are supporting our families and students during this season. Cherry Creek School District received the 2023-2024 Meritorious Budget Award from the Association of School Business Officials International. This award is a testament to our commitment to sound fiscal management and budgetary policies and has been awarded to us since 2013. And in other budget news, tonight the Board of Education will accept the results of the 2022-2023 fiscal audit. The board has previously been presented the details of this audit, and it was reviewed with the audit committee. I am happy to report that our district has once again received an unmodified or clean audit opinion from our independent auditors. I would also like to acknowledge that this audit will be the final led by Brad Arnold, our controller. Is Brad here tonight? No? Okay. Brad has helped lead Cherry Creek's Fiscal Services Office for more than 2 decades, and we are incredibly grateful for his service. Brad, we wish you the very best in retirement. Normally in December, the board will be approving the mill levy rates for property taxes in the upcoming year. Due to the failure of Prop HH and the impacts of the special legislative session, the board will not be approving property tax rates until our January board meeting. Lastly, we were very appreciative of the governor's budget request to fully eliminate the budget stabilization factor starting in 2024. While you may hear some people cheering this accomplishment as fully funding education, please know that eliminating the budget stabilization factor only returns Colorado K-12 districts to 1989 levels of funding adjusted for inflation. Additionally, while the state may not be cutting K-12 anymore, there has been little talk about the nearly $11 billion the state owes our 178 districts for the cuts made over the past 12 years. In Cherry Creek alone, we are owed nearly $700 million from the state of Colorado. Regardless of how the governor's budget is being messaged, the fact remains that Colorado is one of the lowest funded public school systems in our country. Congratulations to Cherry Creek for winning the Esports League of Legends State Championship, and Willow Creek Elementary students recently learned hockey skills from none other than the Colorado Avalanche. Don't forget that Cherry Creek Schools Foundation offers discounted tickets to the Avs and other sports teams throughout the year. Our district high schools worked very hard throughout the fall preparing for their winter musical performances. The Grammy-winning Cherry Creek High School Music Concert, A Winter's Night, by the Meister Singers was truly magical and such a wonderful community event. And Unified Theater always puts on a great show, this year bringing us A Christmas Carol. As Mrs. Bates said, there are still some winter concerts remaining this week and next, and I encourage you to attend if you can. Thank you for your support of me and my reelection campaign. The results of my campaign were among the best in the state, and I encourage you to look them up if you haven't already. I am also very proud to have been reelected to my seat as a member of the Colorado Association of School Boards last week. This work is important for each and every one of our students. I heard a wonderful speech at last week's convention. Alex Sheen talked about his work as the founder of a social movement and nonprofit, Because I Said I Would. He believes individuals can create a world where promises are kept, fostering trust, empathy, and positive change. In a world where there is much heartache and divisiveness, I still believe this too. Alex was asked, "What's the best advice you've ever received?" And he responded, "I don't have to, I get to." Wow, what powerful words to remember. I'm reminded that I don't have to, but get to do this important work in partnership with a very talented superintendent and district leadership team, educators, and staff. I get to distribute jumbo checks, work a food drive, attend musical, theater, and sports performances, collaborate and share important statewide work with my friends on the Colorado State Board, take a walk in the beautiful Colorado winter, or a run down a ski slope on a bluebird day. Most of all, I get to hug my family and friends. It was a perfect reminder as we go into this busy holiday season. I truly wish you the best. This concludes my comments.
Thank you, Director Egan, and congratulations to Brad on his retirement. And for our newest board member, Director Ruthie Knowles.
Thank you. And I want to join my colleagues in thanking Falcon Creek and everyone who contributed to helping put together tonight. So tonight marks day 11 of the 1,460 days in my term. And tonight is the first of 44 regular Board of Education meetings on my calendar over the next 4 years. Something I've learned in getting to this point is it's an ongoing journey. I will always be learning, always be striving to do the best I can in this new position. It is a definite shift from the role I felt like I knew well at the parent level, where I was involved in my local schools and in district committees. I am now at the 30,000-foot view, or another way of thinking of it, at the 53,000 students view. I became official on December 1st, and several days after that, as other colleagues have mentioned, we went to the CASB convention, where school board members and superintendents from 178 school districts from across the state had the opportunity to come together to learn and grow in our roles. The experience was invaluable, and I attended multiple sessions and met fellow board members from across the state. It was a fascinating and enriching experience, and I learned a lot. Over this past month, I visited the 11 schools or programs within my District B boundary with the purposes of getting to know the principals and hear how things are going for them. Every time I left a meeting, I felt pride and excitement for what the schools are doing and that each school has the right principal for them. For those who are not familiar with the area I represent, the schools from north to south are Challenge, Highline, Village East, the adaptive programs, Traverse Academy, Ponderosa, Prairie, Overland, Eastridge, Polton, and Sagebrush. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to continuing on this journey with all of you. That concludes my comments tonight.
Thank you, Director Knowles. We appreciate your excitement, and you've hit the ground running. Good evening. Thank you to the Falcon Creek family for hosting us tonight. Once again, our community showed up for the students and families of our district. This past Colorado Gives Day, the Cherry Creek Schools Foundation raised $83,000 from over 245 donors. These contributions will provide for students' mental health and whole well-being, addressing disproportionalities and inequities in our schools, provide funding to our educators, and distribute emergency support to students in need. Also, the foundation supported a mobile market at Smoky Hill High School in partnership with SECOR, which is an acronym for Southeast Community Outreach. We distributed food to about 40 to 50 families in need and had student volunteers from Smoky's Call to Action class. And we will be supporting another mobile market day on December 12th at Overland High School. I've begun the process of scheduling school visits with principals and building leaders. I'm looking forward to listening and learning from our community. Congratulations to the Smoky Hill High School Unified Football Team. They are two-time state champions. Middle and high school students and parents, check your school's website or contact your teachers for schedules regarding final exams or projects due at the semester. Work hard, take study breaks, and take advantage of the mental health services or any other opportunities to decompress. Many of our schools have family and community winter holiday-themed activities, concerts, and events. Take advantage of these affordable opportunities which showcase the talents and abilities of our students. Check our school websites, but I would like to highlight one particular event. On December 21st, Smoky Hill High School will feature the student improv group Spontaneous Combustion. This extracurricular activity served as a launching pad for current Saturday Night Live cast member Bowen Yang. Happy holidays and Merry Festivus for the rest of us. Enjoy your family and friends and take care of one another. That concludes my comments. We will now come to the portion where we will highlight our student reports. Our first featured student of this evening is Elijah Lockett, a fifth grader at Meadow Point Elementary.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Elijah Nasir Lockett. I am a fifth grader at Meadow Point Elementary. I'm in Ms. Hogan's fifth grade class. November 8th, 2022. I just stepped into Meadow Point Elementary. It was my first time being in the school, and I was greeted by two very outstanding adults. It was my fourth grade teacher, Ms. Pasca, and my principal, Mr. McDowell. As soon as I got to my class, I was greeted by my fellow classmates in a circle saying their name. After just that day, I had a strong connection with my teacher and my classmates. I already had students trying to reach out, and I felt very comfortable with the school. Immediately, I remember the first day of my recess. My friend came up to me and said, "Hi, what's your name?" We exchanged names and where we were from. After I told him I'm originally from Springfield, Massachusetts, we have been friends ever since. The students and staff relationships we make here at Meadow Point Elementary is a special place. Miss Posca, Miss Joey, Nurse Laura, and Miss Allie always creates an environment where we can strengthen relationships. Miss Posca had a soft start Monday where we could play games, talk, and laugh. This helped me get to know way more people. It was a really good connecting time. I especially love playing Connect Four with my friends. North Miss Joey has a voice and tone and the ability to make me feel seen. It made me feel trusted and know that I was okay, that she has my back. Nurse Laura has always been there for me and someone I can talk to about anything. She was there when I needed to get things off my chest. Miss Allie and I spend together on the football field. I always teach her all the rules. It made me feel connected in my true self, which is a sports rat. Fun fact, there's actually a Packers game that's on and I'm supposed to be watching, so really, you guys are making me miss the first half, so I had to miss the first half because of this. All right. Mr. McDowell and I always joke around about college football. Go Ducks. That helps me feel way more comfortable when I talk to him. Miss Hogan is my fifth grade teacher this year, and I'm always comfortable around her. Like asking her about how her weekend is, we can really relate to each other. Finally, I feel trusted with Miss Breach. We always joke around about how much more drip that she has than Mr. McDowell. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have the strongest relationship. I always believe that the biggest enemy of being yourself is yourself. Outstanding and meaningful relationships with students and staff at Meadow Point help me be myself and the person I am today. Thank you.
Thank you, Elijah. Can you return to the podium, please?
I'm so sorry.
No, yeah, nothing. You did an excellent job.
Thank you.
I can tell you worked really hard on that. I like how you mentioned how you have connections with several of your teachers. That's wonderful. What's your favorite part of the school day?
My favorite part of the school day is definitely writing. I'm a big writer. I always wanted to make my own book. I'm like, I want to be an actor when I grow up. So basically when I be an actor, I actually write also, yeah.
An actor and an author.
Mm.
I love it.
Thank you.
Now I heard you mention that you're a Packers fan. You know you're in hostile territory, right? But that's okay. You know, I'm a low-key Packers fan too. One of my relatives used to play, so we can keep that between us.
Is for like this year, I went to the Packers versus Broncos game this year, and the most disappointing was the thing to see us lose. So against the Broncos.
Yes. That's awesome. Do you care to introduce us to your special guests joining you tonight?
Mr. McDowell?
Mr. McDowell, yes. And who else do you have with you?
Oh, I have my mom, my baby brother, and like a cousin of me, my friend Giovanni, and the one and only baby brother. That's 4 months. Well, yeah, 4 months.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming out tonight. And hopefully you can still DVR that game or something, or press replay or pause and still catch it.
Or do I wish? I wish.
Thank you. Our next student is Edlyn Bernal from Falcon Creek Middle School.
Hello, my name is Edlyn Bernal. I am in 8th grade at Falcon Creek Middle School. I've been in the Cherry Creek School District throughout almost all of my education, starting at Summit Elementary in the 3rd grade. Middle school has introduced me to some of my greatest interests. I like to get involved in anything that has to do with getting on stage and speaking in any type of way, hence this speech. I have been in both of the school's musicals, Matilda and Sing in the Rain, and I will be trying out for this year's production of Into the Woods. I'm also a member of the Falconaires, our select choir, and I'm the president of this group. I recently learned that I've been chosen for District Honor Choir and All-State Choir. I'm very proud and excited to represent Falcon Creek Middle School as a member of these two groups. When I'm not practicing for all of that, I play the viola in the 8th grade orchestra. All of these opportunities at my school have increased my level of engagement and helped me think about what I might do in my future. I'm a very musical person that is still learning every day. I can also proudly say that I've improved from when I first started playing viola or when I first started singing. I've kept a growth mindset every time I do something challenging or something I might not necessarily like to do. I like to step out of my comfort zone and have fun with the task at hand. I put a lot of work into everything I do, whether it's writing an essay or presenting a presentation. I'm grateful for many of my relationships, including people inside and outside this school. My choir teacher, Miss Deanna Thaler, has supported me throughout my choices in the musical world. My friends have also supported me by letting me bounce ideas off of them for assignments and what to say in situations. Most importantly, my dad and my sister, they've been my biggest support systems. They've been with me all of my life, and I try not to hold back when speaking to them about what's on my mind. They comfort me when I'm struggling with school or anything else. Because of these relationships, I'm able to be my best self. They encourage me to keep going every day. This district has helped me see the opportunities and pathways that could be available to me in the future. It helps me stay engaged and on track in my academic career because I have an idea of what's coming to me. I've learned to have a growth mindset and continue to challenge myself and improve in all that I do. I know I can count on my relationships and understand that my family and my teachers will support me. I've enjoyed my time in this district, and I'm also excited and nervous about the next chapter of my education at Grandview High School. Thank you for allowing me to speak here this evening.
Well, it sounds like you are going to play all the roles in the musical. You're going to be in the orchestra, you're going to be on the stage,
Yeah.
You may help write it. So you have a lot of gifts. What's your favorite musical or your favorite play?
The Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
Are you going to sing a song for us from that? I'm kidding. You know, I won't put you on the spot with that. You talked about things that you've had to do that where you stepped out of your comfort zone. Can you share one of those instances with us?
Yes, I wasn't too sure going into the musical world when I first attended this school. It took a lot of courage for me to audition. And after that, I've had multiple auditions in the 3 years that I've been here.
That is awesome. Do you aspire to be like on Broadway one day?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, save me a seat and doe a deer, a female deer. You mentioned your dad and your sister help you to stay engaged. What do they do at home that helps support you?
Even if my sister may not live with us, she does help me with homework and when I'm struggling academically. And my dad comforts me whenever I need to talk about something. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we thank you, and I just look forward to seeing your name up in lights and at the Tony Awards.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Our next student is from Grandview High School, Christine Shin, who's in the 12th grade.
Good evening. Thank you guys for allowing me to be here and speak in front of you all. My name is Christine Shin. I'm a senior at Grandview High School, and I attended Red Oak Ridge Elementary from kindergarten to 3rd grade, Fox Hollow Elementary from 3rd to 5th, as well as Liberty Middle School from 6th to 8th. I have been on Grandview's yearbook staff for about 3 years now and have been an editor for the past 2. I'm a part of Unified Club and Fellowship of Christian Athletes and a varsity member of the track and field team as a pole vaulter. Out of the 5 core values, engagement, growth mindset, relationships, equity, and whole well-being, I would like to focus on relationships and why it relates to who I've become throughout the past 13 years as a CCSD student. Being able to create numerous relationships with peers, teachers, and other faculty members through simple hellos in the hallways or short conversations with exchanges of laughter has encouraged me to realize what my future holds for me academically as well as personally. Although I do not know exactly which college or university I am headed to in my near future, my postgrad plans include studying psychology to hopefully become a clinical psychologist or a psychiatrist. One of my biggest dreams in this time of my life is to have the opportunity to study abroad. The relationships I've built through my years at Grandview and CCSD in general have not only created everlasting memories and relationships, but has also given me a sense of confidence to go out into the world independently. Whether it's for studying abroad or creating relationships with clients, I have a sense of comfort knowing that I learned the necessary communication and people skills to excel once I graduate from high school. Thank you to Mrs. Rustam, Mr. Varga, Grandview's APs, and Dr. Roberts for this opportunity and all your support throughout the years. And a special thank you to the school board for everything you do and your time today.
Thank you, Christine. You're pretty busy.
Yeah.
What do you do in the yearbook?
Well, since I'm an editor, I just allow my staff, help them out to make sure that we're covering as much school events, including like student life, plays, sports events, all that stuff, to try and be as inclusive as we can to include everyone in our yearbook. I mainly just edit every story that comes in, all the pages that my staff members make, and make sure that we send them in on time to get a good yearbook for the end of the year.
Do you have a favorite story or assignment from the yearbook that sticks with you?
So in our yearbooks, every month there is because we do a chronological order, so every month there's a feature story. And in these feature stories, we highlight a specific student from our school. And there was this one, her name is Mia. She has POTS and she has this service dog that follows her around all day at school. And it's really exciting to like learn about what you see, but on like a deeper level. So probably that.
Now, how'd you land on wanting to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
I just have heard from a lot of people that I am good at speaking and giving just the empathy that I think I need in this world just to create the relationships and build upon them. So probably that.
That's wonderful. We need more of you. Now, you mentioned studying abroad. Do you have a particular place that you plan to go, or somewhere that you're going to apply to?
I really want to go to Switzerland. Okay. France is up there too, but somewhere in the European countries for sure.
Well, and then pole vaulting. How long have you been doing that?
So I actually started last season. I was really debating on whether to do track and field for a really long time, but a lot of my peers and teachers pushed me to like ask the coach if I can join and stuff. Yeah, and then I just like I was kind of good at it for some reason. I was like the best like girl pole vaulter at Grandview for that season. So, but like I'm trying to do in college if I can. But
yeah, that's pretty brave. I mean, it's one thing to do track, but to like hoist yourself up in the air, like just kind of out of the blue, that is awesome. That is definitely a growth mindset. Well, we thank you for all you do at Grandview and editing the yearbook. I know that's a big task, especially when you have to work with others and deadlines and all that sort of fun stuff on top of your schoolwork and track and all those things. So best wishes to you, and keep us posted on where you land for college and where you decide to study abroad.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christine. Okay, Chris, top that.
Hey, I'm not going to be able to. First off, Elijah, I will be brief so you can get to the game, buddy. And your quarterback's doing pretty well lately. So that's a good thing. So a couple of things. I'm so glad you're here. So let me start with that. I'm so glad that you're part of Cherry Creek. And I'm glad that on your first day, you had a lot of friends, you had a lot of people, and your teachers welcomed you. So that makes me feel good. One of the things that you said is know yourself. That is wise, my friend, coming from a fifth grader, because there's many of us as adults who are still trying to figure that out. So I'm just super proud of you, and I'm excited about your opportunity to go to middle school, and I hope you continue to be a leader, continue to do all those things, and continue to be yourself. So thanks, Elijah. You did an amazing job. Edlin to second, Miss Garland, you're busy, you know. Congratulations on making it into several different plays, being in the state choir, the choir here. So again, your leadership shines through. And Dad, I'm sure you're proud just sitting here and having that conversation that your daughter recognized you. So thank you for what you do at home to support. I'm excited. Here's your principal, just your new principal next year, just walked away. So she videoed you. So I'm sure she has plans for you as well. So good deal. Christine, good luck on whatever you do. I'm sure you're going to be successful. Again, super busy. Thanks for taking care of the yearbook. Thanks for making sure all those memories will be in the hands of our seniors. So just appreciate you. And I'll tell you a story when I was in high school. I tried the pole vault once and I almost stuck it through my chest. So I decided to throw the shot instead. So congratulations on being a pole vaulter, because it's not easy. So again, congratulations. And when you get your degree, okay, when you get your doctorate as a psychologist, come back here and we'll hire you, okay? All right, congratulations, you three. And you can head to the game if you want, Elijah. So with my comments, I had written comments down, but I think I just want to share some perspective from the heart as we move into the holiday season. I'm extremely proud of this school district. I'm extremely proud of the work that we do. I'm extremely proud of the things that we do for our students, for our families, for our teachers and staff. Often we share the wonderful things that we heard from our board members about how we lean into our community. But here's what I also know. We're living in a very complex world right now. Very complex. In situations with violence, in situations with racism, in situations with anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, homophobia, and it's all over the internet, and it's all over social media, and our kids are watching. And unfortunately, we have times where those things follow themselves into our schools. Currently, we are dealing with situations where we've had racist videos that have found their way into our school. Disgusting, horrible, racist videos. We've had situations of a social media movement around using the N-word. I've said this often, and unfortunately, it feels like I have to say it at every board meeting. We do not tolerate hate in the Cherry Creek School District, and we will hold students accountable for their actions. But I also ask us as adults to hold ourselves accountable, because students are watching us as well, what we say and what we do. I'll be sending a communication out to the community through schools about what the expectations are for our students in this school district this week. The rationale from sending it out through our schools is, to be completely honest with you, I think our parents listen to our principals more than they listen to me, and read their newsletters more often than they read mine. And it is imperative that our principals share the same passion and message that I do, that they hold students accountable inside of their buildings, not just accountable for their actions, but also accountable for the learning. Words matter. Some words bring trauma, and that's not okay. And I'm getting tired of having these conversations at every board meeting. But what I will say is I've appreciated the partnerships that I've made along the way. Because without some of the situations, I wouldn't have met some of the people that I've met who are helping me lean in to these conversations. Recently, I met with the NAACP, the Ministerial Alliance, Dr. Vern Howard, who works with the Martin Luther King Foundation, and having conversations about what can we do together to help support the lived experiences of our students. I can't do this alone. Our teachers can't do this alone. This is about community. And our kids need to see from us that this type of hateful language is not okay. It is absolutely not okay. But through consequences also has to come learning. So I'll close with this, a couple of things on this topic, and then I want to get to another. Again, I'm proud of the school district. And I thank the community for making us be better. I thank the community for leaning in. And I thank the community for making me a better person, a better father, and a better leader. And with that, I want to also send some congratulations down the table. Ms. Garland, congratulations on your nomination as board president. I look forward to working with you. Ms. Allen, congratulations to you on vice president. Ms. Egan, congratulations to you on your CASB reelection. Thank you for being a focal point at the state as well. And Ms. Bates, thank you for your leadership over the course of your time as board president. Your heart and your compassion always shines through. So thank you for all that you've done and continue to do for us. And Ruthie, I look forward to your 1,800 and something days. Didn't catch it exactly, but looking forward to work with you. And to our community, our staff, and our teachers, happy holidays. Enjoy your family, give big hugs, and don't take it for granted. That concludes my comments. Now I'd like to introduce Chief Human Resources Officer Brenda Smith and her team for our presentation this evening.
President Garland, distinguished members of the board, thank you for having us here tonight. We are very excited to be here and present to you the 2023-2024 Certified Hiring Report. And with me tonight, I have Ms. Tamara Spidell. She is in charge of all of our talent management inside of the district, along with Ms. Tracy Mays, who is sitting inside of the audience right now. Also, Mr. Alan Lavazo, who is one of our employee relations directors and does a lot with our retention and working directly with principals. And sitting in the audience also is Ms. Courtney Smith, who also works directly with Mr. Lavazo. One of the pieces that we want to begin with is just really talking about what human resources truly believes and how we partner with all of our multiple school buildings and multiple different departments. We believe that we are central in ensuring that our schools and our departments have the right people in the right places. And with that, in order to ensure that we have the highest quality staff, we work directly with them to ensure that we're recruiting and hiring the best of the best, not only within the state of Colorado, but outside of Colorado. With that, what you're going to hear Ms. Spidell talk about tonight is all of the multiple partnerships that we have developed, the marketing campaigns that we've worked directly with communications on, our Grow Your Own program, and all of the other individual pieces that they have developed out in order to ensure that we are continuing to hire the best of the best, but also that our educators reflect the diversity of our community so that it better supports our students. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Spidell to go through the slides.
Thank you. This slide here is a map of the United States showing the attractiveness of the teaching profession by state. Each state's score was based on factors such as compensation, working conditions, and school resources. Colorado, it's hard to see up there, but we have an attractiveness score of 2.2, which really reflects the direct impact of limited resources and the high cost of living, which are key hurdles in attracting and retaining quality educators in our state. And that first challenge stems from Colorado's limited funding for schools, which was referenced earlier. And the second is the cost of living in our state, which is increasingly becoming a barrier for potential educators considering a career in our schools. This chart here is basically our bench. This is who is out there. According to college enrollment data, we have about 19 million students enrolled in college across the U.S., and that means that less than 4% of them are currently pursuing an education degree. And here we have a comparative view of the enrollment in the teacher preparation programs versus the number of program completers, both within our state and at the national level. As you can see, there are over 590,000 students enrolled in a teacher prep program across the nation, and almost 7,500 of them are enrolled in teacher prep programs here in Colorado. And looking at the program completers, we see that only 27% of program enrollees are actually completing their teaching programs in the U.S., but that compares to us here in Colorado. We have 34% of enrollees that are completing their programs. This slide represents an important aspect of our educational workforce, the diversity amongst our licensed educators. This graph here is comparing the percentage of teachers of color at 3 different levels, nationally, within our state, and within our own district. While over 45% of U.S. students are students of color, only 20% of teachers are teachers of color. And looking at the national statistics first, you can see that there is underrepresentation of educators of color across our country. Our state's percentage as shown here is 13%, which is lower than the national average. And in contrast, our district's percentage is 16.2%, which is higher than the state average. So how do we get our bench to come into the district? We've got 3 branches of our recruiting. These are kind of our key strategies and tactics that we employ to recruit licensed educators into Cherry Creek. We have our Grow Your Own programs, which nurture and develop future educators within our own community. We have marketing, which we are actively promoting our district as a great place to teach and work through various marketing channels. And then we use the traditional job fairs where we are able to connect with educators at various events. And I know a couple of weeks ago, the board heard from Ashley Gerke around our Future Educator program. Our district really recognizes the importance of apprenticeships in nurturing future educators. Our Future Educator pathway is the cornerstone of our apprenticeship program. We currently have 49 students actively participating in this program, which is setting them on the path to become educators in our district. Student teachers are also an important component to our recruiting efforts. Last year in the 22-23 school year, we hosted a total of 54 student teachers, and of those, we were thrilled to hire 24 of them as educators in Cherry Creek for this current school year. Currently, we are continuing to see growth in our student teacher program. During the fall semester, we have 30 student teachers. About a quarter of them are specializing in hard-to-fill content areas. And for the upcoming spring semester, we have over 30 new student teachers joining the district, and again, about a quarter of them focusing on hard-to-fill content areas. One of our very good, very fruitful partnerships is with the University of Northern Colorado and the Center for Urban Education. We've seen a significant interest in our Para to Teach program, and we've had 30 of our dedicated paraprofessionals who have expressed their eagerness to learn more about this partnership with UNC and have been invited to apply to the program to become teachers. Currently, we have 18 paraprofessionals who are already enrolled as teacher candidates in this UNC program. And we've got 3 who are actually graduating this December, so hopefully we will get them hired soon. And it's important to note that just a few years ago, we only had about 4 paraprofessionals enrolled as teacher candidates in this program. So we're excited about the growth that we're making there. Alternative licensure is a pathway for individuals to become licensed teachers who might not have followed the traditional teacher preparation route. It provides an opportunity for career changers and professionals with expertise in their field to transition into teaching roles. Our district only began accepting alternative licensure in 2020. And to attract talented educators, we use a diverse range of marketing channels to kind of get the word out about our vacancies, about our opportunities, and to promote all the great things happening in Cherry Creek and why they belong in Cherry Creek. So you can see these are just some of the few channels that we have really deepened our investment and partnership with in order to increase our recruits. And this is where we find that our employees who are hired, where they're finding out about these opportunities. 41% are finding them on the district website. But I think something exciting to highlight is that 21% of our new hires are actually referred by another district staff member. So that tells us that our staff enjoy what they do and they want to invite their friends and families to be a part of it too. Job fairs, we actively participated in close to a dozen recruiting fairs where we were able to connect with over 400 candidates. And we hired about 20% of those folks that we interacted with across a variety of job fairs, whether they were at universities in the state. We also had some statewide fairs, including the Colorado Educator Recruitment Fair, the Jason Crow Fair, and Hiring Our Heroes events, partner with Buckley Space Force Base. And as you heard, our district is committed to fostering a teaching workforce that reflects the rich diversity of our student body. Over the years, we've been making slow but steady progress towards achieving this goal. And so this chart here illustrates the demographic composition of our licensed educators. And this slide gives an overview of our historical demographics of our new certified hires. We hired over 500 educators this year, a little over 100 of them being first-year educators. And we were excited that 98% of our vacancies were filled at the start of the school year. We know that our district attracts great talent because we have the most competitive salary schedule for teachers in the metro region, and we appreciate and extend great gratitude to the school board for approving that salary schedule. And also, according to data from the Colorado Department of Education, our district stands out for offering obviously high pay, but also maintaining a low turnover rate. That's it. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I wondered if you could give some examples when you talked about the hard to fill content areas and talk more about those.
Sure. And our secondary, for sure, that would be areas like math, science, certainly our special education across all levels would be several.
And this has actually increased significantly over the past several years. In the past, we may have had maybe 3 or 4 categories of hard to fill, but over the last probably 2 or 3 years, there's multiple now that we're finding are becoming more and more hard to fill.
Yeah, I was curious. I know with the increase in pay that has helped with filling some positions, but special education is near and dear to my heart. Just with, I know those have been difficult, but have there been strategies, ways that you've been able to start filling those positions?
I think the alternative licensure route and the temporary educator eligibility those have been good pathways for us to tap into folks who have uncovered a passion for working with kids who maybe didn't go through a regular teacher prep program.
And I would tell you that Dr. Poole would still state that many of our center-based programs, our ILC classrooms, those are the type of special education jobs that we're still short in. And so we are definitely working. We continue to partner with our teachers union to come up with different strategies in order to be able to fill those.
Thank you. Those are my questions.
Director Egan.
Thank you. It's nice to see you all. And I appreciate seeing this again. I'm curious. I know that, not curious so much, but just there was a suggestion that came up when Tracy was also speaking about this too, that just to expand this Educators of Color concept job fair into possibly an inclusivity fair. I would really like to see something like that, or maybe something that's a parallel effort. I think that there's opportunities that we miss when we don't address SPED, cultural issues, when we don't talk about LGBTQ plus. I think if we truly want our students to see themselves reflected in their educators, I think that that's a commitment that I would like to see happen as well. And I know that We do. I'm very proud of the alternative licensure program and the temporary educator eligibility that we have here. It's so different from other parts of the state. So I just wondered, given that context, if you could talk about that a little bit more.
Sorry, can you repeat? What would you like to know more about in regards to that?
What's that?
Do you want a more description of what that program is?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So we hired 22 of our new hires this past year with alternate licensure. So essentially what the alternate licensure pathway does is it allows someone who has a bachelor's degree to go into a teacher prep program. They are able to get hired into a teaching program and then apply for their alternative licensure through CDE while also attending kind of in conjunction a teacher preparation program so that they're getting that pedagogy piece. Many of them have the content that comes, especially for our secondary educators that are pursuing that alternative licensure route.
Okay, thank you. And then I know that there was an article in the Sentinel. The first time we heard this, there was an article in the Sentinel addressing kind of where we're at versus other districts in the state in terms of new teachers and new educator hires. I wondered if you could talk about that a little bit more specifically.
Well, I can tell you that when we go to job fairs, some of the other districts are not as friendly to us now that we have this great salary schedule because they know that we have a lot of educators coming to Cherry Creek from other districts in the state because of our salary schedule and because of, the way that we take care of our professional learning and the way that we support the growth of our educators. And basically that huge focus around those core values and the relationships tend to draw people into Cherry Creek more quickly than, say, other districts.
And I believe 73% of our new hires were teachers from surrounding districts, so they were not brand new teachers to the profession.
Yes, well, thank you and good job. And I appreciate this presentation.
I would also say, Ms. Egan, they shared that we're 98% fill rate. That is significantly higher than our surrounding district friends. So that's another tout to the work that we do. So we're proud of that as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Director Allen.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I have a question that we didn't necessarily talk about before, but I think it's worth a little bit of a discussion. When we specifically have the bar graphs for teachers of color, and I know that that's important to the district, and I would love for you to discuss more what happens when students see themselves represented in their teachers. Not only in their thoughts, but in the way they look and their life experiences. Well, I think that students, when they see themselves represented in their educators and around them, they're more engaged in what they're learning. They feel a better connection and they know that they belong. There's a level of comfort. The level of those relationships that are, those deeper connections that are made. So I think the hope is that, we see our kids who are more engaged and we see that student achievement align with that. Yeah.
So I can speak from just a personal experience. So I can tell you, I attended Cherry Creek Schools just for my senior year in high school. And the first time I had an educator of color was also my senior year at Overland High School. That also, by coincidence, I think not, was the first year where I ever felt like I was seen, valued, and heard in school and felt like I was a part of the school community. I had educators, not only the educators of color, but all the educators at Overland, or most of the educators at Overland, who were able to get a sense of who I was, show me dignity, show me how to have pride in myself, show me how to articulate my thoughts, guide me, walk me through what education was at Overland and what the expectations were for me. Those educators of color saw something in me that other educators may not have seen and pushed me to be the best person and best student that I could be. As a former principal and as a former educator, seeing students who look like me, who oftentimes do not have other individuals in the school setting that look like them, who can make them feel seen, valued, heard, respected, understood, empathized with. It means a lot to our students, and not only to our students of color, but all of our students need to see educators of color who represent as role models for them, and and give a variety of opportunities to see that there is not just a single story for each person. I do not live the same experience as any other Black man. I have a single story and an individual story, but my story can make an impact on all students, and in addition to Black students and Black male students.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the honesty with which you spoke, and I celebrate the work that you're doing to make sure that we're getting teachers that not only have an incredible range of thoughts, but also that look like our kids. And then my other question was, I think you reviewed numbers of regarding the percent of admin and pro tech that are people of color. Do you have those numbers?
We do. We're about 27% admin of color and about 24% in our pro tech ranks, and almost 40% in our classified ranks.
Great. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Director Bates.
All right, thank you so much again for this presentation. I'm excited about the variety of ways that we are getting educators into the field of education, especially the Future Educator Program, the UNC. I know I met with them shortly after I came on the board years ago, and they were trying to get more involvement. So I am excited to see that we have so many more of our paras who are interested in this program, because I think it's a phenomenal program for our paras. So as we talk about getting teachers of color in for our students, I know we've talked in the past that we've set percentages that we've wanted to hit. And now, quite honestly, in the years, we've never been able to hit whatever that goal was. Can you talk to why we are struggling? Because I know we're in a district now, a 50% minority, and we're not turning out that many teachers of color. So how are we can't meet the 50%, obviously. So my question is, where are we going and how are we?
And what we're finding is that we have fewer students of color going into education. So I think if we look at some CDE data, only about 14% were students of color going into teacher prep programs in the 2021 school year. So, I know that Ms. Garland has mentioned this before, and I wholeheartedly agree with her that, we need to be providing our students of color with amazing opportunities that inspire them to become teachers and to become educators. So I think that is, hopefully that can help to get more of our students into that education field. I know Ashley shared some data around the number of students of color that are in the FEP program, and I don't know if I have her. I don't think I have her numbers on that, but I know that is also a focus for the FEP program too.
I think that, even the FEP program, the UNC program, I understand that as well. But I just, looking at other schools, that's not a high. In our traditional school, our traditional HBCUs, I believe, those are not typically, is that one of the big programs that we're bringing people out of?
No, not typically.
No.
Do you want to speak to that? Okay.
And I will tell you, Ms. Bates, some of the things that we're trying to be more strategic about are two things. One, determining who's graduating from which university. So if you look at Adams State, really graduating more Hispanic teachers of color. So what kind of conversations do we have there to provide opportunities to come to Cherry Creek? Metro has the highest Black teachers of color. So how do we get into those two schools early and have conversations with them, and also share there are some perspectives about Cherry Creek and about who we are that aren't necessarily true. And so how do we get out there and say we do have a diverse community, because a lot of teachers of color want to teach in a diverse community. So really talking to them early and sharing what our demographics really are and how do you come. And then also, where are places where they feel they can move to be part of community as well? And then not only hiring them, but also how do we and what do we do to make sure that we keep them here too? And what wasn't shared that I appreciate, or maybe it was, our retention rates have consistently gone up as well. So not only are we hiring more, but our teachers are staying. And that's a success story too, because it hasn't always been that way.
So I'm excited that we can get, that we are working to get more teachers here, more teachers of color especially, but I know that it's going to be a struggle to meet those needs. And
as I mentioned before, there's new legislation. We're just in the midst of learning about it, but we have the potential to license and endorse our own teachers. And so we're investigating that even more, because I do believe that's another way that we in Cherry Creek can continue to attract and retain the best of the best.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all your work. I contend, as I always have said, teachers are professionals, right? And so in my life, I need a good doctor. I need a good lawyer. I need a good teacher. I need a good accountant. And so all of those people are on the same level for me, because if any one of those people fails me, I'm in trouble. And so I just want to say thank you to all the teachers in the audience. Thank you for all you do, and thank you for what you've done to make our community a destination district for our families and for our teachers, that this is a place that people want to come, they want to work here, and you all have worked really hard to make that so. So kudos and hats off to you. And when I asked for the receipts, you brought them. So that retention rate is going up, and I'm thankful for that. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Are there any additional follow-up questions? Okay. Well, thank you for that presentation. It is at this point in our meeting that we make time for members of the audience who have completed the online public comment form prior to 12 noon today to address the Board of Education. In order for everyone to be heard, please limit your comments to a maximum of 2 minutes. A buzzer will sound at the end of the 2 minutes, and the microphone and audio will be automatically muted. Each speaker may only speak once during public comment. Speaking time may not be shared between two speakers. This is your opportunity to make comments to the Board of Education in accordance with board policy. It is not a question and answer session. Please confine your comments to matters that are germane to the business of the district. Further, please recognize that students attend most of our meetings. Any speaker whose statements or behavior are unrelated to the business of the district, appear threatening or unsafe, or inappropriate for K-12 students may be interrupted or warned and their opportunity for comment terminated. Audience members who speak are asked to do so in a respectful manner, and the audience is encouraged to listen respectfully. Any speaker or audience member who disrupts the good order of the board meeting, including the speaking time of others, may be asked to leave. We are very interested in your feedback and will listen carefully. On behalf of the board, I want to thank you in advance for your comments, for taking time to come to tonight's meeting. Mr. Koenig, could you please announce our speakers for the day?
I'll call up 5 speakers at a time. Please line up behind the podium. Remember at the start of your speaking to state your name. Barbara Marino, Truss Butler, Philip Butler, Samantha Shocker, Kelly Katagi. Go ahead, yeah. Hold on one second. Ma'am, hold on one second. We'll get the mic turned on. There we go.
Good evening. Thank you for the privilege of being here this evening. My purpose in attendance today is to tell you all a brief story. I have an ILC student currently at Red Hawk Ridge Elementary. My little girl is 7 years old. And I have to admit that before relocating to this area, my husband and I did extensive work on research as to where we were going to incorporate our little girl, knowing that she had autism. I am the poster child of a helicopter parent. I am the one that will call the district when the school's not answering on the third ring. I am the parent that's going to hold you accountable to each and every statement that's made about my child and every concern that I address. And part of the story is to share with you that my first meeting with Dr. Chambers, the principal at that school, was not a good meeting. I literally put her through the ringer. I'm a fierce advocate for my daughter, and I needed to make sure that she was going to get the care that we expected as parents, as well as the education. I am very grateful to say today that she has been one of the best relationships that I have established at her school. My daughter has made significant improvements under her leadership, under her guidance of her educators as well. And as you know, parents talk, there's a rumor mill, and I just wanted to make sure that you all knew how critical it was that we keep her in place where she's at. I believe that she's encountering a lot of pushback from people that have been established there. I have seen staff at the school roll their eyes as she's holding them accountable for things that she may have just had a discussion on that quite frankly made me feel uneasy. But that's not my portion to
Thank you. Your time is up.
Hello, my name is Tracy Butler, and I have two children that attend Red Hawk Ridge Elementary School. I was very happy to hear tonight that you guys are talking about diversity and racial equality and things of that sort being at the forefront of Cherry Creek's desires. That has been my experience with Dr. Chambers. When we arrived here 3 years ago from California, we came from the LA school district, and I will just leave it at that. One of the things that was very admirable about Dr. Chambers is she knows every single child that enters those doors. I'm a 90s kid. If the principal knew your name, you were bad. What I realized is that Dr. Chambers knows every single child, details about every single child, who their siblings are, and special things about them. What I also noticed is when I asked my kids after hearing what happened at the last board meeting, what is it about Dr. Chambers? The first thing I got was, Mom, she's our principal, duh. Cool. After I got over that, I said, what comes to mind when you hear Dr. Chambers? And their response to me was, she gives great hugs and she keeps us safe. That was my youngest. My oldest, she's a therapist. As a therapist myself, I said, elaborate. At which point he told me, she listens to me. She helps me solve problems. That is the type of experience that I want for my children. And that is why I'm here tonight, because Dr. Chambers gives that experience to our children over and over and over again. I have seen her work collaboratively with parents, and I know what she does behind the scenes. And although there may be some difficult challenges that she's having with some people, because like we said, the rumor mill spills, parents are talking, I advise those parents to actually work harder to talk to her, because what she's there for is the children. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you, members of the board and the Falcon Creek folks for hosting tonight. My name is Dr. Philip Butler. I teach at the Olive School of Theology. My wife just spoke so eloquently. And I just want to add from the parent side, the wonderful work that Dr. Chambers has been doing with the students at the school. She has an open door policy with us. And I imagine that with the rest of the parents as well. She has been not only a listening ear, but a collaborative partner in the ways in which she is attentive to not only the students, but the families that she spends time with, the ways that she allows for kind of an open dialogue, but also for just, I think, kind of a multi-pronged approach, not only to listen to us as the parents, but she takes the time to bring the students in with the parents and with the teachers as well, just kind of to get as many sides as possible. And so I think it's important not only for us to continue to support Dr. Chambers and the work that she does, but also to kind of lift up and highlight the work that she does to support the diversity and the moves against racism and discrimination that you all have been talking about this evening. I also think that the pushback that she's been experiencing also has to do with this similar topic, which I've heard kind of folks talk about what it means for our students to have this type of level of accountability. But I also want to admonish what it means for our teachers and the folks who are on the ground with our students every day to kind of be aware of not only their internal biases, but the ways in which they hold a standard that looks at one particular kind of way of being as opposed to the differentiation that comes when you take seriously the multitude of cultures, right, and houses and place of origin that are represented in the various spaces that come into these classrooms. Thank you.
Evening. Thank you for allowing this space. My name is Sam Shocker, and my daughter is a student in CCSD, and I am here on behalf of many parents. Some of those parents are here also speaking tonight. We are collectively concerned and deeply saddened by the recent anti-Black racism prevalent at both West and campus specifically. But we know this is a systemic issue within the district. It is time for action, and we appreciate your words tonight. The two videos, one a terrifying racist manifesto referring to Black students in the most abhorrent, threatening, and hateful way. The other, the continued usage of the N-word by white female middle schoolers, both infuriating to watch, but I can't imagine how BIPOC students and their parents and their families must feel. I, along with many parents, found out about the racist incidents from social media. I was shocked and disappointed that the school district we as a family uprooted and moved into in order to have our kids be a part of was not addressing it transparently with the community and was not using it as an opportunity to demonstrate that we at CCSD collectively combat racism head on and not be vague or downplay the incidents, but instead use it as a teaching moment openly. This is an opportunity for the parents and the students to handle difficult conversations, ones that the entire nation is also grappling with. Education is not only about academics. Learning anti-racism and how to be an upstander are equally as important, if not more. Soon after, it was all over the news, from here in Denver to the papers in Atlanta, even across the pond in the UK. Rather than accept this or make excuses, we believe in our community. We believe in you and the Cherry Creek School District. And we have parents here tonight to urge you all with specific asks and solutions. CCSD are leaders in many avenues. Let's be the pioneer in how we combat hate speech and racism too. Thank you.
I'm Kelly Katagi. In Colorado, it's illegal for an adult to provide anyone under 18 with obscene material. Doing so is a Class 6 felony and can result in 18 months behind bars, $100,000 in fines, and the requirement to register as a sex offender. Cherry Creek District's own policies require that instructional materials meet, quote, the highest possible standards of professional ethics, good taste, and common sense. They also say materials containing explicit adult or sexual content can be removed. Despite this, the district school libraries provide minors with ample books that violate both its own standard and Colorado law. They even put these obscene materials in prominent places in the libraries, as I've seen at my own kids' school, Eagle Crest. It's disgusting and perverted. The Eagle Crest principal suggested to me that this is okay because just making pornography available in the library is different from requiring kids to look at it in a classroom. But is it? If someone were to stand 1 foot off of school property with a table where students could take these materials, they'd be arrested. Or if the school had a spot in the library where students could access alcohol or even cigarettes, there would be an uproar. How is it any different to make illegally obscene material to minors? This isn't about banning books. If parents want kids to access these pornographic books, they can easily buy them off the internet. School libraries can carry only a few select books. Why not use shelf space to carry books that uplift students rather than corrupt them? The Eagle Crest principal also suggested that pornography designation is subjective, but Colorado law clearly spells out what adults are not allowed to show minors. It specifically prohibits depictions of human genitalia and specific sex acts. As you can see from just 2 pages of many of the obscene books available, these books violate these prohibitions. When I tried to email the board about it, my emails got blocked because the words were too obscene. Please remember this as district enrollment continues to drop. This is just one of many examples of how supposedly trusted adults in Cherry Creek schools are sexualizing our kids, and parents are sick of it. The process to challenge these books is difficult and stacked against the challenger, but that's a topic for another day. Instead of hiding behind a process, the board should have the basic decency to actively rid our schools of obscenity immediately.
Thank you. Your time is up. Daniel Ward, Eddie Morokan, Malaya Hall, Laura Nelson, and Maddie Horn.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Ward. I have 2 daughters in the school district here. Thank you for your attention this evening. I'm here because of the recent racist videos coming from a West student and campus student towards Black African-American students, which you all are aware of, that Sam spoke about earlier. After reading the student conduct and discipline rights and responsibilities, to my surprise, there seems to be quite a bit of policy relating to racist language that targets students. One school in particular in our district last spring reported 30% of students surveyed heard at least one racial slur weekly. The same school reported a 10% increase when asked again this fall. There's clearly a problem in this district, and by your opening remarks, you know there is a problem too. On page 12, under student conduct behavior that disrupts the classroom and learning environments is unacceptable. Further on page 17, under violent and aggressive behavior, number 8 speaks specifically to discriminatory slurs. In a few areas, the conduct states the student will be subject to appropriate disciplinary action. My question is, and take into account student privacy, what are these appropriate disciplinary actions? Who's in charge of passing down these consequences? And who's upholding the district's policies? I, as a parent, want to ensure my kids are safe, have an environment where they can be productive, and are not subject to targeted racist language. I'm asking the board and superintendent to be our leaders. This starts from the top down. Enact your policies and implement appropriate consequences and restoration that dissuades the insensitivity of blatant hate to some of our students, and that we as parents and our students understand what the actions are. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Edwin Mariquin. Thank you for your time and attention tonight. Education is not just a journey of academic growth, but also one that fosters an inclusive and a safe environment. We applaud your communication about the Colorado Springs nightclub incident. We applaud your communication about the Israel-Hamas war. However, we believe you can do better. Parents informed about discrimination towards students of color in our schools. We ask for a consistent, comprehensive, and transparent communication process, one that ensures parents are promptly informed about discrimination issues at our schools. Thank you.
I'm Malaya, and I'm here to continue advocating for my children and those at Red Hawk Ridge who are suffering because of Michelle Chambers. There's an urgent and profound need for real, effective, and measurable intervention at RHR. During the last meeting, I alerted you to the abundant ongoing issues regarding Chambers, so I am fully aware that you know it is a problem, and the continued inaction speaks thunderous volumes. Last month, Chambers made an impactful, poorly educated decision, and then accosted her teachers for students knowing it was her decision, then proceeded to attempt to shift blame onto those teachers in an email to parents. She continues her pattern of calculated and revengeful behavior against those who call attention to her deficiencies. Again, she conducts herself in a legally questionable and ethically problematic way. So I am calling on you, the board, and Mr. Smith to take action. I am calling for an immediate and thorough investigation. It isn't not a coincidence that the email I had been waiting a week for from Chambers came just an hour before the meeting last month. It's not a coincidence that a call was placed to Director Allen about a new playground just ahead of the meeting where Chambers knew I'd be speaking out against her. It is not a coincidence that her husband attends these meetings as a poor attempt to intimidate teachers and then reports on their attendance. It is not a coincidence that he showed up to RHR and spent an afternoon standing outside of my son's classroom displaying aggressive body language and staring me down. The status at RHR is nothing more than a direct result of her inadequate leadership, and this continued inaction will only feed the hostile environment she creates. I realize that fighting for change is an uphill battle, and I accept that the systems are created to be difficult so people give up when it's hard. But luckily for all involved, I'm not one to give up. Thank you.
My name is Laura Nelson, and I would like to thank Mr. Smith and the board members for allowing us to talk today. I would like to bring your attention to the pattern of behavior that Dr. Chambers, the principal at Red Hawk Ridge Elementary, continues to display. My fellow parents and community at Red Hawk Ridge isn't seeing the same as you all have been. While Dr. Chambers has been able to help our community, such as raising funds for an inclusive playground, she is failing our students and staff on a daily basis. I personally attempted to bring this to Mr. Smith's attention the past school year in May. I was told I was not able to share my concerns with you and instead needed to bring my concerns to the director of elementary, Dr. Derek Muehlner. My apologies for mispronunciations. Despite my disappointment, I did just that. I spoke with the director of elementary, and I informed him of my concerns, which mirror the concerns of my fellow Red Hawk Ridge parents this evening. I would like at this moment to share with you the letter I thoughtfully put together for you back in May to address similar concerns to show this pattern in Dr. Chambers' behavior. As proof, she will continue to disregard the safety of our students and our wonderful teachers if you continue to ignore the situation. I have a copy for everybody. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, school board members. Thank you for all you do. Welcome, Ms. Knowles. Welcome back, Ms. Garland and Ms. Egan. Thank you to our community for keeping you here. Thank you, Superintendent Smith, for continuing to take a stand against hate. I completely agree with you that I'm tired of continuing to have to be here to say that we cannot allow hate in our community. Thank you for standing up for minority students, racial and ethnic minorities, LGBTQ students, and students with support needs. In this unsafe world, I feel safer having my kids here at Cherry Creek. Thanks.
Jennifer Ann Miller, Rima Wadan. Sorry, my glasses shifted. Andrea Mohamedeh, Stephen McKenna, Unsuk Zucker, Brian McKinney.
Good evening. I am here to request greater transparency when reporting incidents of hate or violence that occur in our district. Currently, the notifications sent to parents only contain vague details about these troubling events. While protecting student privacy is important, more information is needed for parents to get a clear understanding of what's happening. Specifically, I am asking this board to have a clear and concise policy on notifying the parents by 1, providing a general description of what transpired without identifying the students involved, the location, date, and incident where it occurred, how the school officials responded, including any disciplinary action, and steps the school is taking to address the root cause and prevent future occurrences. By providing these additional details, parents could better understand the scope of issues facing our school. This enables more constructive dialogue and reduces speculation, rumors, and the proliferation of fear and anger stemming from a lack of information. Students' rights to privacy must be balanced with the school community to better understand the incidents and the threats that the students are facing. By working together, administrators, teachers, parents, and students, This can best address the complex problems of hate and violence. But this collaboration depends on transparency when serious incidents occur. I urge the school board to revise this policy on notifying parents to include more specific details while respecting the privacy of the disciplined students. Thank you.
Good evening. Congratulations to the board for the re-election or new incoming. I just wanted to come here as an ally for the students of color in our district. I have stood here many times before documenting incidents of hate speech and discrimination. Students have shared from our past meetings. Issues regarding racism, hate speech have been normalized through media, culture, social systems, and institutions. And when our systems are in place that give one community the ability to combat hate speech, the same system should be in place for our students of color. It should be named, and it is unfair to treatment of BIPOC communities. I stand here providing the district with 3 action items: clear policies covering hate speech; 2, where and how to report incidents; 3, clear and non-vague messaging when incidents occur. And I'll talk about point number 2, where and how to report incidents. For many students, the process of reporting an incident causes many students anxiety because of backlash. When they do report an incident to a teacher, counselor, dean, or principal, students' consensus is nothing happens, so what's the point? I know that this is not, it's emotion, but and things are in motion, but the student doesn't want to report the situation. For many students and parents, they do not know the standard operating procedures, and the incidents are not the ones that are reported. There's no follow through, which is extremely vague for many schools within the district. So we'd like to propose the following where and how reporting incidents can occur. 1 is the creation of an ombudsman to dedicated senior role focused on these issues. 2, the ombudsman must report to the superintendent of the board, but should not be buried within ECCE or administration. 3, the ombudsman should collect and report data on the incidents. 4, the role should publicize widely how to report an incident so that all students and faculty are abundantly aware of the procedures. 3 or 5, the role should have the power to conduct investigations and make recommendations. And 6, this will require funding from our district. The actionable items will provide clear.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Good evening and congratulations to the board. Last spring, campus hosted a group of middle school students who testified about racial epithets they heard on a regular basis. Not even 2 weeks later, campus experienced a highly publicized anti-Semitic incident, soon followed by an anti-Semitic incident at West, then a racist video at West, and then a racist video at campus. It is insulting to refer to these incidents as isolated. The videos are a symptom of a larger problem, which is a racially hostile learning environment for students of color. Whether or not the videos were created on or off campus, our students of color are verbally targeted in person with racial epithets on a regular basis. Moreover, social media is used to share racist rhetoric and videos on campus during school hours. When a child is learning how to read or how to do math but is called the N-word during recess or class, it's going to impact learning. It is a deprivation of equal educational opportunity. Without consistent enforcement of anti-discrimination and disciplinary policy, we create an environment where racism is tolerated or perhaps even condoned. There are 3 steps CCSD can take to address racism on our campuses. 1 is clear messaging about racialized incidents. Parents need to know what happened. Don't sugarcoat it. 2nd, we need a district-wide disciplinary policy that is consistently applied across the board. If students and parents knew in advance the consistent consequence for hate speech, there would be no after-the-fact questions that infringe on student privacy. 3rd would be in the investment in the creation of an independent and neutral ombudsman's office that reports to the board. Often students and staff and families do not know where to go to report incidents of discrimination, or they fear retaliation for reporting in their schools. This position would have the power to investigate complaints of discrimination, make recommendations, and collect data and issue reports. The position would be abundantly known to Cherry Creek community and not hidden within another department. Families of color want proactive solutions that remediate racially hostile learning environments.
Good evening. During the recent election campaign, it was noted several times that Cherry Creek is the only large school district in Colorado that doesn't live stream its board meetings. It doesn't even provide a video on the website. It's simply an audio recording. During one of the later candidate forums, in response to a question about whether this policy was equitable and inclusive for our parents and community, Director Garland herself indicated that she supported live streaming the school board meetings. Yet here we are at the second board meeting since the election, and there's still no live streaming, there's still no video, at least that I can see. On behalf of many parents and others that I heard from over the last few months, I would respectfully request that the board, if the board is not going to make this relatively simple accommodation to increase transparency, that it please provide the community with an explanation why not. Thank you very much.
Hanslik Zucker. First, I want to congratulate Angela, Ruthie, and Ann. I was out of town last month, and I want to extend my congratulations. Now that we have the election behind us, we have the real work ahead. There have been several racist videos that have been circulating the Cherry Creek High School feeder. They're terrible, and the community still waits for their board member to take a stand against the hatred in those videos. Chris, thank you for publicly standing up against this behavior, but you and I both know that words aren't quite enough. These videos are a symptom. They're the tip of the iceberg. They're indicators of a much more widespread problem of systemic racism bias that are hindering the learning and environment in our halls and our classrooms. There are students who have come forward and shared their experiences again and again. The N-word being thrown around on a daily basis, kids saying Black kids shouldn't be alive. This is unacceptable, and frankly, the ECCE department can't do it alone. We need a clear formal policy that covers all forms of hate speech as well as acts of discrimination. The policy also needs to articulate consistent consequences for violation of this policy. The scope needs to take into account off-campus actions that impact the on-campus learning environment. I would also suggest listening sessions with youth most impacted by these issues to inform the policy while taking care not to burden the youth themselves. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Brian McKinney, and I'm a parent of 2 children in the district. My daughters have been called the N-word multiple times at school. My daughters have been called monkeys multiple times at school. They are in the 4th and 6th grade. In fact, today, when I picked one of my daughters up from school from the bus stop, she told me she was called a crusty monkey today. And she said, Dad, it makes me feel sad. The recent incidents connected to campus and West aren't isolated events. They're symptoms. If you talk to Black students at our elementary, middle, and high schools, they will confirm that this is common. It's common to hear racial slurs. And in their eyes, it's common that nothing will happen. N-word passes just don't happen at campus. They happen all over this district, but it doesn't seem like it's taken seriously. It doesn't seem like anyone cares. Black kids are just supposed to endure this and keep it moving. That's not right, and that's not fair. And professing your love for the core values doesn't change that. But you know what does change that? Policy. In addition to clear and concise messaging, we need when these incidents occur and a mechanism by which students and families can report these racist incidents. We are calling for a clear policy on racism and discrimination. When racist comments are made and directed at students, what are the consequences? Who enforces these consequences? Where is the accountability? Because until this district articulates and enforces a clear policy, and Chris, I'm glad to hear you say that a communication is going out to reinforce a policy, but until there's a clear policy with clear consequences, my kids, our kids are not safe. Until this district articulates a clear policy and enforces a policy with clear consequences and shows our children that you care, this will not change. So please show us with actions and not just words. Thank you.
President Garland, that's all for tonight.
Thank you. I call for a motion to approve the consent agenda. Resolutions 23 23.12.1 through 23.12.13. Is there a second? I'm sorry.
I move to approve the consent agenda resolutions 23.12.1 through 23.12.13.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Director Allen?
Aye.
Director Bates?
Aye.
Director Egan?
Aye.
Director Garland?
Aye.
Director Knowles?
Aye.
The motion carried.
Our business for the evening is concluded. Our next regular meeting is Monday, January 8th, 2024 at West Middle School, 5151 South Holly Street in Greenwood Village, Colorado. I call to adjourn the December 11th, 2023 board meeting of the Cherry Creek School District.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Director Allen?
Aye.
Director Bates?
Aye.
Director Egan?
Aye.
Director Garland?
Aye.
Director Knowles?
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good evening.